Alright, we're going to be watching JennaBoo, who is going to be playing Diva on Dorado, and this is on console, and it is Silver 5. They wrote a lot here. I'm just going to kind of skim through this. I've never actually played as tank before, so this season is my first time playing in comp, and a few games after this I played Silver 5, despite dominating in most Silver lobbies. I only started playing when Overwatch 2 came out, and I'm a Diva main, but sometimes, depending on the counter, I'll switch to someone I'm less confident on. In this game, I switched to Junker Queen and didn't do amazing. I know Diva isn't the most viable tank because she has a lot of counters, she doesn't have the strongest abilities, etc. But I try to play her in a more separating squishies from the team and picking them style, as well as focusing on staying alive and protecting my teammates with Matrix. As you'll see, there was a bash on the other team. The main things I feel like I could get better at is positioning, knowing when to go in, and knowing when to go after squishies. I'm worried that I'm focusing the other tank too much, even though I know that's not the point of Diva, and it's my DPS's job. I don't know if I fully agree with that, but it's okay. In this game, we actually did really well, and it was a very close game. Everyone was very nice, there was no toxicity, happy to hear, and I was pleasantly surprised by the stats being quite even on both sides. I generally think it was a case of one team just being slightly better than the other, and me not knowing what tank counters Zarya that I actually know how to play, since I really don't think Diva or Queen were the pick once Zarya came into play. I'd appreciate any and all advice on anything I did wrong, as well as anything I did well, so I know what to keep doing in the future. Thanks so much. Alright, so I did a quick pre-watch of some of this replay, and I think we're probably just going to focus on the beginning segment so that we can go kind of deeper and talk about like your decisions and your mechanics and things like that versus trying to go through the whole video. As it's 23 minutes long, but I don't think it's going to be pretty repetitive. Like, my advice is going to be the same. So we're going to focus on probably the first few minutes, maybe like the first point or so, and we might jump to the end and take a look at that. I actually didn't look to see what was going on at the end, and see whether or not we can be of help there. So based on what I saw, you look extremely new to Diva. As you mentioned, you're new to tank, but you also look extremely new to Diva. And I'll preface this by saying that I personally, as a GM tank who plays almost all the tanks in the game, except for Ball and Doom, I think that Diva is one of the hardest tanks to play, especially for new heroes. The reason being is that Diva is a jack of all trades, right? You can brawl, you can dive, right? You can peel, but you don't do any of those things super well. Right? You're not going to be out brawl brawly heroes. You're not going to out poke pokey heroes. You're not going to be able to out dive, divey heroes. So the goal is to identify what's the highest value thing I can be doing right now and use your flexibility to win the game. Right? That's really where Diva's strength is that you can do all these things, and so you're rarely actually going to be stuck in a situation where you're like, I have no options here to do anything. So I'll give you an example, right? Let's say hypothetically I was running Reinhardt here, right? Reinhardt, very brawly, very tough, very durable, and you're pushing the cart here. And meanwhile, the whole enemy team is just situated above you, right? Let's say there's like a Genji, and there's an Ashe and a Mercy, and then there's like a Sigma, and they're all just shooting down at you and your team. As a Reinhardt, there's nothing you can do here. Right? Your only option is to run all the way around, go up these stairs, and then try to force them off high ground this way, which takes forever. Okay? That's an example where Reinhardt can get stuck on vertical maps where Reinhardt doesn't offer a lot of value. But as Diva, you always have the option of going high ground, so that's flexibility that you have. I actually don't agree that Diva is so easy to counter. I think that Diva is actually one of the harder tanks to counter, precisely because she's so flexible. That being said, I still think she's really, really, really hard to play, because number one, it can be very difficult to identify what should I be doing right now, and number two, I think her mechanics are actually very difficult. I personally think that Diva is one of the hardest tanks from an aim perspective, and I know lots of people have disagreed with me on the subreddit before. They're free to disagree. I think that it is very hard to fly up onto a squishy hero to bump them while using both projectiles and hit scan weapons, right, your guns and your missiles, and kill them quickly. That is a very, very hard thing to do, and you need to consistently do it, I would say like 90% plus of the time, against a target that has no ability to escape. It is really hard to do, and if you screw it up, you almost always get demagged. So it's really, really, really hard to do that, right? Like, imagine this Diva, let's say Kiriko has no Suzu and no Swift Step. What are the odds that you can fly up here and kill the Kiriko before she gets Suzu or Swift Step and escapes, right? So let's say 5 seconds. I think that the vast majority of players from, let's say, gold or even platinum on down could not consistently kill a Kiriko in 5 seconds. I just don't think that happens. I think it's way harder than people give it credit for as to how difficult it is to pull off that maneuver. But unfortunately, it's a maneuver that you need to do all the time as Diva in order to be successful with her. But that's just kind of an opening here. Let's kind of talk through the game. You see this Bastion right now. He goes tank form initially. This is fine. Like, this is actually good for you because he's going to waste it. Like, there's a lot of cover here, right? Your team is invincible while they're in spawn. So come out. Yep, we're all good here. No problem. Bastion is a particularly difficult matchup for tanks because you have to understand and track his cooldowns. When Bastion is in tank form, you want to avoid him and eat the damage so he doesn't kill your team. And when Bastion doesn't have tank form, you want to push. And he has 6 seconds up in tank form, and then he has 12 seconds down when he doesn't have tank form, which I say is 10 seconds to give you 2 seconds to then hide. Anyway, your goal right now should be, hey, I need to push this cart at least to this corner, and then I need to dive high ground. Right? You don't want to dive high ground right now because A, it's too far away, it'd take you forever to fly there, and you get blown up out of the air, and B, your teammates won't be able to help you because they'll be pinned all the way back here by the Sigma. So if I were you, I would just sit here and just blow up the Sigma shield, right? When you use missiles, just use cannons, just shoot the Sigma shield down. You do 144 damage a second with your guns, which means you personally will shoot down the shield in 5 seconds, assuming nobody on your team shoots it, which I'm sure somebody on your team will help you shoot it. So the Sigma shield will go down very, very quickly. So your goal here, just blow up the Sigma shield. Use missile here. So general idea, great idea, shooting the shield. I don't think you should have bothered using missiles, but it's okay. It's not that big a deal. So you shoot Sigma from here. So he's used Grasp. Now this is the moment that we're looking for. Remember I said that you wanted to get the cart to this corner, right? That way your team can start helping you do stuff, A. And B, you want to blow up the Sigma shield so that your team can help pressure the Sigma as well. This moment, when he's grasping, right, he's using Grasp, he cannot attack, he can't do anything right now. So this is a good opportunity for you to then fly up over here and then attack his backline, right, and go for the Kiriko. That should be what you're doing right now, right? This moment, right? You got full health, you got boosters. The problem is you don't have missiles, which is why I said you shouldn't have used missiles. But even without missiles, I still think I go right now and fly up and I pressure the Kiriko. Because I want the Kiriko to swift step either forward to the Sigma, which means my team will kill her, or backwards to here, which means the Sigma has nobody to heal him, right? Because then all the supports will be around the corner, and then you can kill the Sigma after that. That's what you should be doing right now. But, see, the problem is, now you go late, all right? Now the Sigma has the ability to attack you. He could have rocked you out of the air right now, which would have been super bad for you. And the team has backed up. See how the Kiriko here is vulnerable. Kiriko here, not as vulnerable, because she has cover, all right? And she can easily get away from you in the situation. So you go over here, you see how much of this you missed? Because she's already around the corner because of the cover situation. And that's why I said she was much more vulnerable here than she was over here. Again, much closer to cover means it's very unlikely that you're going to be a credible threat to her. Just from a mechanics perspective, you bump into the wall. I'm sure you meant to land here or like even fly up, but you hit the lip here, so make sure to get a little higher. You can drop right now. You're in big trouble, right? You get rocked, you take a ton of damage, and you have the Matrix right now, which is the correct call. Your Ashe kills the Pharaoh, which is great. I would be advancing right now because you just got to pick, and you're going to see the Mercy res. Right? So you see the Mercy flying left to right on the top of your screen, right? Right up here, you see she's going from left to the right. You immediately should be flying up right here, activate missiles, and just kill her. That's what you should be doing. This is the highest value thing for you to do. You recognize it, which is good, but you recognize it too late, which is bad. And now the problem is, not only do you not prevent the res, but you also don't kill the Mercy, and you lose track of the Pharah. At a minimum, even if you can kill the Mercy here, you could put a lot of damage into the Pharah right now. If you're standing here just shooting the Pharah, she takes over half her health right now. So, because you're not able to do the damage to the Pharah, again, at this range, so I actually just made a video to support this one, talking about damage fall-off. Your damage fall-off is really significant right now. You see how little damage you're doing to the Pharah? It's actually going to kill you. It'll take you like 15 plus seconds to kill this Pharah. It's like impossible for you to kill this Pharah at this point, because she's gotten out of your range. Versus, if you've been here, like let's say you just stood still right here, waiting, right? Shoot, 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 right? I do a lot of damage, and now I fly up into her, shoot, 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 and she dies. That was the correct way to pull this off, assuming I did not interrupt the Mercy res, which would have been the best play. So you're going to dive in here. This is kind of tricky because you're down 2 DPS right now. Hopefully you know that. Hopefully you've been tracking the kill feed, right, in the top right. It will tell you, hey, who's alive, who's dead. Obviously replay looks different, but during the game you'll see people dying on your team. And you realize, hey, we're not going to push 3 people into 5. I don't want to lose mech. I just want to play slow. The Pharah is overextended, right? She's on our side of the gate. So I could fly up here and maybe kill her. But I don't want to do anything at this gate right now until the rest of my team is here. So, again, nothing's going to happen to the front line. The Pharah is still here just shooting at your team constantly. I suspect that you're just not aware that she's there, despite the fact that she's firing rockets in. Like, you need to like look around and be like, hey, what's going on? The Mercy is right next to you. She was also killable. You finally recognize the Pharah. This is good, right? Flying up at her is good. I wouldn't have used missiles there because I think it's really hard at that angle to land missiles. But Now you need to shoot her. This is a good reason why I say that D.Va is one of the hardest tanks in the game to land shots on, because you have to attack at very odd angles at aerial targets, and then you yourself have to worry about your own movement, and you see how you're just like way off course here. Right? Again, watch you fly up, you completely whiff her, and then you fall all the way over there, and now you're out of the fight for like 8 seconds. That's really bad. At higher ranks, this would be virtually guaranteed that your team would lose the fight right away. That's so much time. Like, if I saw this as the enemy signal, I would just walk in your team and kill everyone while you're messing around with the Pharah in the air. So mechanics and aim is going to be very important as part of D.Va. Like, there's no way that, no matter how good your game sense is, you have to have like a pretty good base level of mechanics on D.Va to be able to aim and hit targets. If you can't, you're going to have a bad time. D.Va doesn't have any easy to aim abilities, right? She's not like Reinhardt, she's not like Winston, she's not like Ramatra, right? Or even Ball. Like, you gotta be able to track people with your cannons, otherwise you're gonna be in trouble. So, what should you be doing right now? Again, look, hey, is the airspace clear? Okay, airspace is clear, great. I can start putting pressure over here, and I'm gonna help my DPS get in, right? I am unlikely to be able to break through this main choke. The reason being is that Sigma is way better head-on against D.Va than D.Va is against Sigma, right? The Sigma will, even with equal skill, the Sigma will completely blast you as D.Va because he's way better sustained. It's probably very hard for you to know that at this stage of your Overwatch career, but I'm just telling you, if you want to like face off against the Sigma will win 99% of the time. His toolkit is way better at dealing with this like, hey, let's all just sit here and attack each other style of like just like poking at each other. He's perfectly optimized for that. So instead of trying to fight in main, once you have your team ready, try to think, hey, what can I do that will be effective without facing off against the Sigma? And in particular, I want to bait out the Bastion tank form, because once the Bastion tank form is gone, I wait 6 seconds, then I can fly up, over, and start attacking the back line. That's what you need to be doing here, right? Once the Sigma, or once the Bastion is no longer his tank form, he becomes like very gentle, like a kitten, right? He still does like 120 damage a second, but like barely more damage than Mercy Pistol. So at that point, you can then fly in and go after the back line. Of course, you need to not get rocked, you need to not get low. There's a bunch of other steps, but the general idea here is you need to get from here to here without losing all of your health and without getting stunned and having baited Bastion tank form out. That's probably a lot for you to process right now at Silver 5, and I understand that, but I'm just telling you, like, that's what you need to do to win this fight. Okay? So, now, Bastion has popped his ultimate right now. Fun fact about Bastion ultimate. Bastion ultimate is actually 3 different projectiles that come out of the skies. You see this? This projectile, right, this rocket is going to come straight down and it's going to blow up right here. And there's going to be another one that comes out of the sky right there, and it's going to blow up here, and there's going to be a third one that blows up right here. The great thing about D.Va is you can eat these projectiles with defense matrix. So all you need to do is just hold your defense matrix at wherever it's going to land, and it will absorb it, dealing no damage and not blowing up. Okay, so recognizing, hey, what's the situation here? You could just hold defense matrix, right, for this one, and then this one, right? But instead of doing that, you presumably, I think, panic here, right? Because you could have saved the Reaper here very easily, right? Just by DMing these explosions, right? Even just one of them would have saved the Reaper, and then you end up losing it, which is bad because you're going to have to wait another 20 seconds for the Reaper to come back out, assuming nobody staggers. So another easy save, you just need to know like mechanics, like how D.Va's defense matrix works and how Bastion's ultimate works. So this is a tricky situation because my Moira is pushing in with Coalescence. She can die right now to Bastion, even through Coalescence healing. I would fly with her and then try to body block some of the damage, but very lucky she doesn't die there. Bastion's out of position right now. This is your moment, okay? Fly up, get over here, bump him this way, and then kill him. Activate missiles and kill him. So you're going to let the Bastion live here for no reason, right? These are the moments as D.Va where an opportunity is created. You need to recognize it. This Bastion really far out of position. Fly up, cut him off from support, and then kill him. That's what you need to do right now. Letting him not die or get away right now is a big, big mistake. Beat gets popped right now, so with Beat, you have 750 extra health. You need to fly in and immediately try to kill somebody. Right? That's the key right now. You have to go in right now. So you go in. The problem is you go in too late. So Beat decays at something like 200 health a second or so. So notice that when you first got Beat, you had like 1100 health. Yeah, so you had 1300 plus health, but look how fast it's gonna decay, right? And by the time you start diving, you've lost the Beat, right? The extra boosted shields from Sound Barrier. So you need to go in a lot faster. As soon as you get beat, go, right? Bam, beat, go, right away, right? Regardless of what's going on, you need to make use of that beat, or else it's going to be a wasted ultimate, which is ultimately what ends up happening here. So you've lost your Lucio, right? You're going to lose your mech here, which is really bad. You should basically never lose your mech. Losing mech is disastrous. So, it's tough for me to advise like what to do differently, because like you put yourself in situations where like you're pretty much screwed, right? You waited way too long to go. Now you've landed in front of the opposing team with no boosters, and with Bastion about to have tank form again. Right? In fact, he has it right now. Like, my advice here is don't be in this position, but if you are going to be in the position, try to DM and then get behind the cart or get into this doorway to prevent yourself from getting demeched. Definitely don't be walking forwards right now. I also sense there is a over-reliance on your team. Like, I think, based on reading your gameplay, you think if I shut down the Bastion or absorb their damage, my team will kill somebody. That is not the correct way to play any of the tanks in the game, even tanks like Reinhardt with giant shields. Your goal should always be, how can I personally kill the enemies on the opposing team? All right? That's the best value that you're going to get. Can you help teammates? Sure, absolutely. You should synergize with them and make it easier, but don't think I will just hold defense matrix and my team will get kills. That will almost never work. Alright, you're going to farm mech back, which is... Oh, are you going to farm mech back? You are going to farm mech back. Alright, so keep track. You should look right now before going in and be like, hey, who's alive right now? Because right now you have 0 teammates, well, you have 1 teammate here, and you're going to be going in to 3-4 people right now. You're trying to fight the Bastion at point blank. Takes down damage. Now you're super low. You're about to get demeched, right? And you see that you didn't really accomplish a whole lot here. You should just waited for your team to come out and then re-aggressed. Now you decide to throw a bomb. As a general rule for bomb, do not throw bombs to try to get kills. You should use your ultimate as a second life that allows you to play aggressively, right? Play more or less the way you normally do, except take like a little more risks. And if you end up getting demeched, pop bomb. Right? Pop bomb, and then reset, get another mech, and continue the pressure. It's very hard to deal with a diva who constantly just remechs whenever she gets like popped out of it, and you deal with a full health diva all over again, in addition to needing to scatter from the bomb. Trying to throw bombs to get kills is not consistent. Like, you get it this time, but I'm telling you, in general, this will not happen. It is actually very rare, especially when you get to higher ranks, that bombs will ever get kills unless you can sync it with something else, like I'm trying to think of all the other synergies I thought were all tank ultimates from before. EMP, right? EMP is a good example, right? Where people are relying on a shield and the EMP goes off and then your Diva Bomb can kill people. Otherwise, do not expect Diva Bomb to ever get kills, right? This Mercy can easily survive from this Diva Bomb. She has more than enough time to just walk here. She could have walked here. She could have GA'd around here. Like, she has so many options to survive from this Diva Bomb. And when it comes, all she does... it's just like, oh, there's a Diva Bomb. She flies forward, and then she bounces backwards for some reason, despite the fact that she would have been safe right here, and then she's going to kill by this. This is what I'm saying, is Diva Bombs do not consistently kill people, especially if you are not very practiced at throwing Diva Bombs, which is really hard. It's a very specific skill to learn how to throw Diva Bombs. It's tricky. Yeah, I would not recommend throwing Diva Bombs to try to get kills. That's good, right? Recognize, hey, look, Bastion's out of position. He's on the other side of his supports. He doesn't have assault form. Yeah, dive right now. You activate missiles. That's good. That's what we want to see. If you do stuff like that all the time, you will win a lot of games, right? Dive in, get kills. This part's fine. Yeah, stop shooting him. Now, when he starts grasping, I use boosters. I go over and try to kill the Kiriko, okay? Because shooting the Sigma is not going to make a lot of sense because the Kiriko is going to keep healing him. Right? And Kiriko heals now for like 80 health a second or so. Like, that's a lot of damage that or healing I'm gonna need to get through. Plus he has shield. Plus he's gonna eventually get another grasp. That's gonna buy enough time for the team to stall. If I just fly over here and attack the Kiriko, she can only swift step either backwards to the Pharah or swift step to the Sigma, which means she dies. So just go for the support right now. See, you're stopping at the Sigma, which is a mistake. You don't need to do this. Just go for the Kiriko right now. But it's good to activate missiles when he doesn't have grasp. And then we're going to cap. So, that was a fairly in-depth explanation of going through the first point. Obviously, we can go through the second point and the third point, but it's like going to be the same general advice, right? Try not to fight the enemy tank very much, especially at like poke ranges, like 10 to 20 meters away. Very, very bad for you to be fighting him. Look for opportunities to kill DPS or supports who are out of position. try to avoid the enemy tank and put pressure on the enemy supports. Use D.Va bombs to get a second life, not to just chuck them to get kills. Again, it's very inconsistent to try to win by trying to get kills with it. And generally, just depending on the opposing tank, avoid them and mess up the rest of the team's day. So let's jump to the end of the game. I'm actually curious what the end of the game looks like. So we got 60 seconds here. Their team is on offense. They need to push. How far do they need to push? That's pretty good. Yeah, this is actually a great push. Yeah, your favorite to win here. With only 1 minute, they have 2 fights maximum to get it all the way to first point and then win another fight to then cap here probably. So this is definitely in your favor. So, as mentioned from before, you should generally avoid the opposing tank. The only exception to this rule is, only consistent exception to this rule is Winston, who you can always kill every single scenario that you fight him. But other than that, you don't want to be fighting the opposing tank. So when Zarya's beaming you right now, you don't want to be doing this. You don't want to be fighting her. Just go high ground and fight, for example, the Pharah, right? Or shoot the supports from backline, or the Bastion, or get ready to dive when the team gets low or they get out of position. So you see how you've lost like 500 plus health here, right? You've lost 500 health here and done no damage to the Zarya. Like look at how this fight starts, right? You're at 650. You and the Zarya are both max health. Okay, you start using this bubble, the missiles. You attack the Zarya, right? By the way, your defense matrix does not work against beams. So by the time you get away, you've lost 500 health, and the Zarya has lost 40. This is bad value for you, right? You're feeding the Zarya ult charge, you're feeding the Zarya energy, and you're losing your own health, which prevents you from doing things to help your team. A 150 health D.Va does not do very much. A 650 health D.Va can do a lot. You really need to control the skies and the rooftop here. That's your highest value thing you can be doing right now. Right? But now you're super low. I have no idea where your supports are. Moira's still walking over, and then your Lucio is also walking over. So I would honestly literally just go all the way back, have the Moira heal me, and then rejoin and fight out here. Because without 2 supports, there's no way you're going to win this fight. So your DPS go in. You try to kill the Zarya here. I know the Zarya's never going to die. There's 2 supports right now. I haven't even seen her use all her bubbles. Yeah, she still has 1 bubble left. There's literally no way the Zarya could have died. Losing mech right here is disastrous. You're pretty much screwed right now. I would just die as soon as I can. Because you need to get your mech back ASAP, and it's going to be faster to die and respawn than it is to try to get your mech back here and probably die again. By the way, you don't get ult charge from shooting bubbles. So, you finally got your mech back. Amazingly, nobody kills you. But you've already lost your D.Va. So, you see how you're diving into 4 people right now? This is not good. You don't need to do this, right? Play the choke, right? Play the corner. Play around the corner, and then nobody can shoot you. Right? And then when they try to step up, you're going to block the cart from moving, and when they try to step up, then you can shoot them at close range. That's good for you. This right here, this is bad for you. I would have you pay attention a second to the enemy Zarya's ult charge. So rolling this back, way back. Right? Grav is one of the strongest ultimates in the game. So Zarya's going to come out of spawn, obviously at 1%, right? She just started the game. After this trade with you, where she did 500 damage, she's at 13% right now. Now going forward, she's at 22, right? And she's going to demech you right now. For the record, you're only at 12, so she's already double your ult charge. Right? Blah, blah, blah. Now Zarya's at 33, 41, right? You finally get your mech back. Okay, you got your mech. Zarya's at 54 right now, so she's 2.5 times your ult charge at this moment in time. Then you fly in, you're going to feed the Zarya a ton more ult charge because she's beaming you down at this moment in time. Okay, now on a reload, she's at 63, you're at 30. Right? Now look, she's beaming you down more. She got another 9% ult charge off of you. Now she's at 72, 73, 74, right? She's like almost lapping you in ult charge because you're constantly feeding her ult from having her easily damage you. You can't be fighting the Zarya head on. Again, control the high ground here, deal with the Pharah, shoot the back line, go for the Bastion when he doesn't have tank form. That's what you need to be doing. And let the Zarya just kind of walk into your team. If you kill the back line, the Zarya will die. If you try to face off head-to-head against the Zarya, you will lose. D.Va is not good at fighting head-to-head. And I know it's really hard to process what you should be doing differently, but that's what comes with D.Va, right? D.Va's just not good at fighting head-to-head. If you want to do that, then you should pick an easier tank like Reinhardt or Ramatra or Orisa or something like that, who are much more straightforward, right? Just kind of fight the front, kill whoever's in front of me. D.Va is just not good at this. Getting T-Mech here is disastrous again. At this point, it's basically a 5-on-4, 5-on-3 now, 5-on-2, and then obviously they're going to win that fight. You still have the opportunity to win this fight. I would say it's very unlikely to win the fight in this situation. The reason being is the enemy Zarya has Grav, and I would know that based on how much damage she did to me. So knowing how much damage she did to me, I would know that she has Grav. So your only chance to win this is that your DPS are going to need to respawn quickly, you're going to need to stall cart, and you're going to need to eat the Grav. Right? Grav is a projectile, so you can actually eat it with Defense Matrix. That is unbelievably unlikely to happen. Like, if I was in your situation as a GM D.Va, I think the odds of you winning this game, me winning this game, are 25% at best, maybe even lower. I think the odds of you winning this game are like 1%, right? The card has to move a very small distance, and the enemy Zarya has Grav. I think it's extremely hard to imagine winning this game. Well, it's a lot more likely because the Zarya just threw the Grav away. I think the Zarya thought that they were going to win by capping this point, which is incorrect. The Zarya, they actually need to get through this door and go to here. So this is actually really good for you. So now that this has happened, if it was me, I think I have at least a 50-50 shot of winning this game. I think that you only have like a 10% shot of winning this game, but it's better than like the 0 or 1% that it was previously. So key thing here, you don't want to be fighting right now because there are 5 people attacking you and your Moira. If you just sit around the corner and you wait, you can regroup and you can fight 5-on-5. One of the critical parts about playing tank is understanding when and where to fight. This moment in time, they have a numerical advantage, don't fight it, right? Just let them cap, they've already capped anyway, let the doors open, let the cart comes forward, and then fight here. You only need to win one fight, so you might as well make it the best possible fight that you can make it. Fighting on the other side of the gate in a 5-on-5 is way better than fighting on their side of the gate in a 5-on-2. You get shredded here. You try to go, oh god, this is a throw. So I feel like this is probably you just panicking. You're like, you're not really sure what you need to do right now. Again, you need to recognize the win spot is not here, it is here, so I don't need to go in. So I might as well play on the other side of this choke and force them all in and funnel them into this choke. That way we can all fight them together. But you going in right now is disaster because your Moira has to fade in to try to save you, your Reaper has to fade in, right? Everyone's trying to do something, but the problem is you're all super low, you're scattered, your timing's all wrong, and then you're gonna die here. There's like no way. Like I'm surprised you guys even killed the Bastion there, honestly. Yeah, you even had beat here. So yeah, for sure, you could have won this fight if you just played on the other side of the gate. Like I don't think you're favored to win, but I think that you certainly could have won here if you had just played this side of the gate, and then you would have had beat followed by Coalescence, and then maybe Bob in this fight. Yeah, I think this is maybe winnable. I think that trying to take that fight there was really bad. Okay, there's a lot there. It's really hard for me to distill this down to like small items because I think you're at the very beginning of your D.Va journey. So like every single dimension of things you need to be kind of improving at, right? I think that your core aiming mechanics, like time to kill, like diving on an enemy and killing them, needs to get better. I think you need to avoid the enemy tank for sure. Right? And I need to understand what space can I realistically control and what space can't I control. And that's heavily dependent upon the enemy composition and my own team composition. I will also link my D.Va gameplay guide, which I think will be very helpful because it will go through a lot of these situations and explain where do I go? Why do I go there? And I think that'll be very helpful to help you learn. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Hopefully this is helpful.